Hello everyone, today I'm going to kick off my journey on YouTube, giving myself a good starting point as to where I currently am in my calisthenics and climbing journey. The idea is that later on, I'll be able to look back and see how terrible I was today and how much less terrible I will be. So in a sense, this will be a sort of time capsule. Without further ado, let's get into it and establish baseline. First, I'm going to start with calisthenics, but also dieting and general fitness. I was going to separate the two, but then I realized that would make much more sense to talk about them together, since weight, diet, and exercise all kind of go hand in hand. For example, your ability to do harder and harder pull-up variants, and most calisthenics honestly, does directly depend on your weight and flexibility. Starting with calisthenics though, I did come from a background of weightlifting since high school, so I definitely have a solid baseline. To figure out some of my pulling numbers, I recorded some exercises I did earlier this week just to get a good sense of where I'm at so far. Starting off, I tried neutral grip pull-ups just for ego. Yes, I do know that neutral grip is easier than pronated, and yes, I also know that my form wasn't the greatest here, but nonetheless, I was able to do them with a 55-pound plate. Not too shabby a start. For context, I weigh 160 pounds give or take. I also realized after recording that it's easier to put the belt on the other way, so oops. Then I proceeded to try some weighted pull-ups with the same weight, because, honestly, I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, so after quickly realizing that I could not make it up all the way, I grabbed a 25-pound plate and was very much able to do it for reps. Next up, I did some banded one-arm pull-ups with this 45 to 110-pound resistance band, and was able to do a few, so not too bad. I moved to this thinner purple band, and let's just say it was very much cooked. I couldn't even get all the way up. Finally, to get a grasp of my muscular endurance, I did as many neutral grip pull-ups as I could, and I hit 10 solid reps, which, given that I already did a bunch of other stuff beforehand, that's not too bad. Lastly, I did some pronated pull-ups, and I got 7 of them, though I will say that I could do 8 if I was fresh, and probably even 10, honestly. My main eventual goal for pulling is to be able to get one-arm pull-ups by the end of the year, which while I know is super tough, is definitely attainable if I really commit to this, and I will commit to this. Although, I want to be able to do a muscle-up at least dynamically, where you explode to the top position. I don't even know how static muscle-ups are remotely possible, so yeah, I'll just be working on the explosive version, trying to get that version by the end of the year. For pushing, I'm not as familiar with different variants of pushing exercises, but I'd say I'm pretty decent at the basics. I don't have any recent footage, so I just decided to test stuff out now in my room. As you can see, I'm very easily able to do regular push-ups all the way to the floor. Last time I tried for a max, I could do like 30 fresh, and I can do tempo push-ups as well, so I have the aspect of control too. I even tried some archer push-ups, and to be honest, I'm surprised I was able to do any at all. I'm also able to get clap push-ups, though my control is definitely not quite there yet, so I gotta work on that. The last variants of push-ups that I started to work on is pike push-ups, and I'm getting more comfortable with that in preparation for handstand push-ups, which is the obvious progression from pike push-ups. Speaking of which, I haven't put too much focus on hand balancing yet, but I can do a frog stand, headstand, and a kick-to-wall handstand, even holding a few seconds off the wall, but I'm not quite confident enough to do a full handstand yet. My goal in these areas of calisthenics by the end of the year are to do a handstand push-up and a one-arm push-up, and I definitely think both of these are attainable. Before moving on, I did realize during editing that I completely forgot about core and legs as an average gym bro does. For core, my main goal is to do L-sits and also front lever, and for legs, my goal is to do pistol squats. Alright, let's get back to the video. The final aspect of all of this I want to talk about is dieting and weight, since I have been slowly gaining weight, about 5 pounds over the past month. Though I did start creatine, so that probably accounts for the gain, but nonetheless, I weigh 160 at 5'7" inches, so there's definitely progress to be made in this area. I just need to actually track calories and macros, so I downloaded Macro Factor and started planning. Because I'm genetically unlucky and my metabolism kind of sucks, I'm starting at a 1,600 daily calorie budget, and because the recommended protein intake for gaining muscle is 1 gram per pound, I'll try to hit this number. Something I'll mention right now is that I definitely wasn't getting anywhere near this number for protein, probably around half this ideal amount, and this definitely would make it hard to get stronger. Otherwise, I'll start to introduce some light cardio and stretching after my workouts, but yeah, that's about it for calisthenics, fitness, and health. Now, let me talk about climbing. If you saw my first video, You know that I suck at climbing right now. I'm a stuck V3 climber who has kind of been half-assing the sport for a while, and now it's time to stop half-assing it and full-ass it. Personally, I currently prefer vertical and overhang, and I absolutely hate slab, which I'm gonna be honest, if you like slab, then fuck you. But yeah, my favorite types of climbs are definitely those ones where you are on a slight angle, about 20 degrees or so, and all the moves are pretty static and position-based, so basically just the easy climbs. I don't really know how to hold tension on super steep walls, and I also am terrible at balancing on slab. Also, it's worth mentioning I only have ever done like one dyno, and it was a V1 maybe V2 white tag in Sport Rock Alexandria. As far as hanging goes, I don't have any footage of this, but I managed to hang off of a 10mm hangboard for 7 seconds, and I was able to do a pull-up hanging off that. With all that in mind, my goal by the end of the year is to consistently be able to hit red tags, V4s to V6s, at my home gym, Vital Lower East Side. Now I know what you're thinking, ain't no way this guy can easily do pull-ups, hang on 10mm, trying to get one arm pull-up by the end of the year, and only thinks he can hit V4 to V6 by the end of the year. First of all, has my current relative strength helped me climb higher grades yet? Hell no. Second of all, Vital Lower East has to be one of the most sandbag gyms of all time. My friend who normally is a V5 to V6 climber couldn't do a single red tag at Vital, and my other friend who is even better, who posted a video of us at Vital, only did 3 red tags. That gym is just built different. I'm sorry. So yeah, there's all my current progress and eventual goals by the end of the year. What I'm going to do is try to upload short-form content every week, updating you on my progress, and I'll make videos if I reach any of my goals. Until then, have a good one.